it's Janessa with Simply Eloped. I'm back for week 3 of the tip of the week. Last week we talked about where to begin with your planning, and today we will be talking about budget. Now, I didn't realize what a big topic I was biting off when I chose budget, so it's a little bit of a longer one. Just be prepared. Anyhow, let's talk about budget. So I've got 10 tips here around, 10 tips within the tips, around budgeting, and mostly this is talking about how to save money when you're eloping. Average cost of a wedding in the United States is $35,000. The average cost of a Simply Elope wedding is $1,000. So just by choosing to elope, you're kind of saving $34,000 or more.
Well, that's nice.
But there's little tweaks and tips on how to just further save money, so let's dig in. The first tip that I have is the least expensive way to elope is going to your good old-fashioned city hall. It's in your town. You could do a staycation if you chose to, but city halls charge like $35 and you get your marriage certificate right there. The only tricky part about that is that judges are just gonna wheel and deal them. It's not gonna be customized, it's not gonna be personalized. It is definitely gonna be cookie cutter. But if you're looking for something uber simple and uber affordable, that's a good option. You can always hire a photographer to capture those moments, but City Hall ceremonies can be fun. We love some of our City Hall ceremonies, especially in San Francisco and New York. Another tip is instead of doing it at a venue, choose a park, national park, city park. A lot of our national parks allow you to have a small ceremony in them. They probably have a ton of rules just to preserve the area, but those permits range from like 75 to 100 bucks. And then a lot of city parks just let you do it for free. Another tip is to keep it regionally close. If you live in the Northwest, eloping in the Northwest. I'm talking to a gal right now who lives in Kansas. We're considering, doing her ceremony in Colorado just because it's kind of a hop and a skip from where she lives. I would recommend going off season, especially if it's a high touristy place like maybe Florida Keys or Hawaii. Prices are just going to go way, way up for airfare, hotel, activities. So you'll just save a ton of money by going off season. So wherever you choose, I would do some research on that and figure out when on season is, and then not elope during that season. I've traveled all over the nation to all of the markets that Simply Eloped are set up in, and Airbnb has helped me save a ton of money. So the average Airbnb that I found is between 80 to 100 bucks a night. And then, just depending on where you're staying, hotels are gonna be like 150 all the way up to 300 or more. So Airbnb for me has helped me save a lot of money. Also Enterprise, you can rent a car for like 35 bucks a day, and that can help you save a ton of money. Even an Uber ride can be 20 bucks. So if you go on 2 Uber rides, you've already paid for a car rental. I'm a huge advocate of public transportation, especially in a place like New York or Chicago, where they've got like really good insular public transportation. The situations I don't recommend that, or using Uber Lyft, or like if you're getting married in Rocky Mountain National Park, you're staying in Estes Park, in spots like that, or even Big Sur, you're gonna lose reception pretty easily. And so getting back might be a challenge. So in those instances, I would definitely recommend renting transportation. I would definitely decide like what you want to splurge on. So for instance, my girlfriend got eloped in Missoula, Montana. They went to City Hall, and because they had saved so much on the venue and the vendor, they chose to really put their money towards a photographer. That was something that was important to them, was just capture it with a high-end photographer. But you should decide that for yourself. Like, is it makeup, hair makeup? Is it flowers? Is it dress? Is it photographer? Decide like where you really want to put your money if you do have a little bit of a budget, and then just find the best thing that matches in that category. Definitely don't always go with the cheapest option. If it seems too cheap to be true, that's because it probably is. This is your wedding day. Like, even if you're eloping, it should still feel special. It should still feel like something that you should be excited about. And if you find an officiant that charges like 100 bucks, but he's also doing 6 ceremonies in one day, it's really gonna take away from your ceremony and probably just not gonna get the product or the quality that you're wanting. So there's some instances that I would recommend that if someone's just a little bit higher, you might wanna go with just like that. $100 can make a really big difference when booking a vendor. And definitely go with your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. You know, my tip for choosing a vendor is like, can you get a beer with them and enjoy it? You know, if you don't feel comfortable with your vendors, like that's a pretty good sign. These are the people that are performing your wedding day. So that's a pretty big deal. Definitely rent a tux and a dress instead of buying. And that's a great way to save a ton of money. You know, there's Rent the Runway and a ton of other services that allow you to rent something for $100, $200 instead of buying it for maybe thousands. So that's a really, really great way to save money if you are wanting to get a little more dressed up. And then lastly, this one's a little bit of a funny trick. Don't say wedding. Being in this industry as long as I have, I've realized that there are just some companies that you say the word wedding and it immediately jacks up the price. You know, limo, cake, sometimes flowers. You know, there's some instances that, you know, by saying something like, we're doing a celebration, you might just be able to save a little bit of money because you're not using the word wedding. It's crazy. Anyways, join me next week. We will be talking about how to know if eloping is not for you. Very interesting question and one that I think is important. And I'll see you next week.